Hi, I'm Neil Vinnie-Kirk. One of the concepts that I really push on the Tangents blog and in my books on camera flash and direction and quality of light is that with proper use of bounce flash, you can start approximating something that looks like studio quality lighting. But you have to put some thought into it. And with this, I was really curious about the new Canon flash that came out, the 470EX-AI. It features intelligent bounce. I must admit that I was a little skeptical about it. I mean, what can a flash automatically do for you that you, as a photographer, can't do better? But I have to admit that there's one or two features here that actually can help you. So we're going to step through it. So the first step in getting really nice light from your Speedlite, there's this little plastic bounce cup that always comes with your flash. Get rid of it. That's your first step. Bare bounce flash. That'll give you the best results. So let's see how that's done. I have Anastasia with me in the studio today, so we're going to photograph her using the 470X in its intelligent capability. Now there are two intelligent modes, the semi and the full. The semi is available on all Canon cameras, the full on a few more of the more modern releases. The interesting thing is the semi-intelligent mode is actually the more useful mode for us. But let's start with the full. Now there's a linked article that'll have the compatibility chart that you can see whether your camera has the full capability. But as I mentioned, the semi is the more useful mode. So let's start off with just a horizontal. Now the flash gives two pre-flashes to measure distance and the ceiling height, and then it goes into the bounce position. So focus on her more or less, or just get my composition, and I press the button here, the AIB button, tip, tip, and nice bounce flash, looks good. A little too high in my opinion. If you bounce straight up, you get dark sockets on the eyes. I feel that you get a better bounce just going a little lower, but we'll come to that. Now let's try the vertical position. So I get my composition, I tap the little AIB button, and gives you the two flashes, and then it's in position. And a beautiful portrait. I still think the light's a little too high. I would have taken the flash a little lower. The key here really is bounce your flash into the direction that you want the light to come from. For my taste, the full bounce, they bounce the flash a little too high, so I think I can do better in the semi-bounce mode. So going for vertical, I want my flash to come in from a little bit more of a lower angle, about over there. Again, the key is bounce your flash into the direction that you want the light to come from. So once I have that, I can tap the memory button, the angle set button, and I can take my shot. Beautiful bounce light, it looks good. And now if I want to shoot horizontal, and this is where the nice little feature comes in, I double tap the shutter button. What happens? It fucks up. So for my taste, the full intelligent bounce the flash a little bit too high. There were just too much shade under the eyes. Again, the key is you bounce a flash into the direction that you want the light to come from. So I feel I can do better in the semi-intelligent mode. So the first of, let's do vertical. I point my flash more or less where I want it, and then I hit the angle set button here on the side, and that'll memorize the position that I have. There we go. And I can take my shot. Looks beautiful. And now if I want to do it vertically, if I want to do it horizontally, I double tap my shutter button and boom, it moves into very close to the correct position for horizontal bounce. So that works very well. And then again, vertical, tap the shutter button, and it goes back to the position that I had set. That looks great. So for me, the semi-intelligent bounce mode has that advantage that you can maintain the same direction between vertical orientation and horizontal orientation. That's beautiful. I like that. And it's pretty fast. So one of the problems for me in the full auto mode is if I move further back, the flash decides that it needs to bounce a little forward. And this is for me is a problem because the moment your subject sees part of your flash tube, it changes the quality of light. I'd rather still have directional bounce flash. So moving to a further back position, we go to the full auto mode, and holding it up, I get my composition, and I hit the AIB button, watch what happens. The flash, and the flash tube points a little forward. Not ideal in my taste. What I rather want is, let's go to the semi mode. I want directional light off to the side. That'll give me much better quality light. I push the angle set button and it looks good, and there's no chance of any direct flash hitting my subject, changing the light. Because what I don't want is two light sources. I don't want light from a diffuser cup hitting my subject and the bounce light. In the same way, I don't want directly from my flash tube and the bounce light. I just want the one large light source that gives me sweet light. And again, there the semi-bounce mode will work better, where I can bounce to the side. I hit the memory set button, that angle set button. I can shoot horizontally, looks good. I can shoot vertically, and I just double tap my shutter button, and the flash goes into proper position that I had chosen. This works very well. I like the semi-intelligent mode the best. So for this next little section, I want to show how I can use tightly controlled bounce flash to get short lighting. So we've got Anastasia here. I'm going to really control my bounce flash, and I would bounce off a wall, but I have this mirror in the way. I'm too lazy to move it out of the way. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move these V flats in and have that act as a white wall. So now that I have my white wall up, we're going to bounce a flash in 3 different ways. I'm going to bounce my flash behind me. It's going to give us nice soft light. I'm going to bounce my flash about here. Also gives us nice soft light, but it'll still be coming from a forward position. And then what I want to do is I want to bounce my flash here. In effect, I'll be having a large softbox here that'll give me directional light, and I'll just hit the side of Anastasia's face, giving us short lighting. But because I'm bouncing here, my flash is going to be pointing towards my subject, and that'll give me direct flash of some kind. I don't want that. And for that, I'm going to add a little flag to my flash, a piece of black foam that I'll pop over, and that'll shield the light from directly hitting my subject, controlling it so that I have no direct light on her from my flash, only this big softbox light here on her. Let's see what it looks like. So for the first example, I'm going to bounce way up above me. And again, the semi-intelligent bounce mode here works well. I'm going to be shooting vertical and get my flash into the position I want. It's going to go straight over my shoulder. I tap the angle set button so we can memorize that. Looks beautiful, nice soft light. Let me just do a test shot without the flash so we can see what the ambient light looks like at my chosen settings. And my chosen settings is 160th at 3.5, 800 ISO. So there's a bit of a hair light, as you can see, because there's light coming in through the window, but her face is really shrouded in darkness. So the results we see here from the bounce flash, that's pretty much all bounce flash. It looks good, nice soft light, but we can do better. I'm going to bounce my flash off over here somewhere. So even now we're starting to get to the point where there's a little bit of light directly from here hitting my subject. That's about a good position there. I'm going to tap the angle set button so we can memorize it. That looks good, but I think where the magic happens is where we get short lighting on our face. So I want to then hit the light, the wall right here to the side of Anastasia. And for that, this piece of 25-cent foam. I know, you spend hundreds of dollars on a new flash and then you defile it with a piece of black foam, but really, this does magic. So this piece of black foam held in place with 2 hair bands is just enough of a lip so that it blocks the light from directly hitting your subject. It does its magic. So Anastasia, just turn your head a little bit this way. There we go, that's good, because I want to hit just the short side of her face. And now I want to hit that spot right there next to her on the white wall. And that's why I need this piece of black foam to block it. So I'm angling this flash in quite steeply and a little up. And let's hit the memory set button in case we want to change it to horizontal mode. And there we go, beautiful short lighting. I'm going to come in a little closer even. Fantastic, I love it. Really dramatic results. Very easy to achieve. Dramatic results, really easy to achieve through controlled directional bounce flash. But you can do that with any Speedlite. Okay, we're going to photograph Anastasia in this old freight elevator. And I'm going to flip between horizontal and vertical, showing you how the simple intelligent mode helps us in just maintaining the same bounce angle. Okay, my settings, 400 ISO, maximum sync speed on the 6D, 160th at f4, and I chose a fairly low ISO, 400 ISO here because the ugly fluorescent light, I want the flash to dominate, so I want to pull down my ambient light. I'm going to shoot in TTL, obviously, like I do, and let's continue. So I want my light to come from over there, horizontally. I tap the memory button. Looks good. Let's go vertical. Now what I did is my orientation changed from over there to here. So to maintain that, I would have to shoot underhand and then double tap, and there it goes. That looks good. Let's change over here. Just lean back, actually right there. Go over here, even more. Good. Just kind of lean back, fall back, pop the one knee a little bit. Can you drop down a little bit lower comfortably? And I'm going to bounce my flash off the silver in the background here. I hit the angle set button. I'm going to change my flash angle a little bit again, set it. Change your posture a little bit. Okay. And vertically, I double tap the shutter button and it gets the position. It's a little under. I'm going to just pump my compensation up a bit more to compensate for the reflective metal. That looks good. Horizontal looks good. Vertical looks good. Give me one where you're standing here, just kind of full length with an attitude, boom, so I can get a full length shot here. Come a little more forward. Right there's good. In fact, go a little bit back because I need to be able to bounce inside this elevator. There we go. And I want my light to come from, let's say there. There's no specific white wall that I'm bouncing off. I'm bouncing off metal cage and metal sheet and everything else. And I set my bounce angle. Relax your hand a little bit. There we go. I like the other hand. There we go. Horizontally, I'm going to double tap. And the flash immediately moved into the correct position that I'd chosen before. Give me a shot here right on the edge of the elevator. I'm going to bounce into this large area here. So we're back into an area here that's like the studio, 13-foot high ceilings. Again, the walls are cream colored. It doesn't really concern me because I'm shooting in RAW and I can always correct for it in post. It's a warm white balance, easily correctable. The background though will change a little bit in comparison to this. Doesn't really bother me. So I'm going to shoot a tight vertical. I want to bounce my flash off over there. I set my angle on my flash. Okay, the tight vertical looks good. I'm going to shoot a full-length vertical. Looks good. And to maintain direction horizontally, I double tap my shutter button again and it finds the angle. I like that. I'm going to come in a little closer. Bring your hands into play again. There we go. Okay, I really like this flash. It has its advantages there with the way that it finds the angle between vertical and horizontal orientation of the camera. Let's go back to the studio. So in summary, what do I think of the flash? I have to admit that I was more pleasantly surprised with than I thought I would be. I was really a little cynical in the beginning. It's a really nice flash, well designed, the controls are really nice. So I would recommend this for a beginner photographer, somebody moving up from the pop-up flash to something a little, that'll give you a better quality light. So the beginner, advanced amateur, intermediate photographer, this flash makes a lot of sense. But if you're a professional photographer or somebody that wants to build up a system, this is not the flash you need. You want the Canon 600EX. What this flash lacks that the 600EX has, more power. The 600 is definitely more powerful. The 600EX can take a battery pack. This one can't. And then where it also falls down is this flash can only be used as a slave in optical mode. There's no radio capability. So there are those limitations that definitely puts it in a level lower than the more professional flashes. But all in all, really sweet little flash. I would recommend it to people that are stepping up from the pop-up flash to a decent sized flash. So I like it, with limitations.